I wish I'd found this guy years ago when I first started doing the diode laser stuff. There's a guy on YouTube, the Louisiana hobby guy, and what he doesn't know about diode lasers isn't worth knowing. So he has a YouTube channel. You can go and see the videos of him doing different things and explaining how to do different things within LightBurn. But he also has his own website. And if you register, it's free to register, you'll come up with an extra button on the website. This doesn't show when you're not registered, but you can go into this site and you can download the libraries for art and for engraving and cutting the diode lasers. So it saves you a lot of time. What I suggest you do is go to this site first before you start using your laser. Download the one that's nearest to yours. So if we go into the laser here, um, it's got all the ARTA ones. Now, usually the ARTA ones are the later versions, so they're the faster laser printers of the diode range. He's got the NG, and he also has the atomic stack and the Comgro, um, and the X tool. So if anybody's got an X tool, this is the place to come to get the settings straight away. Now the X tool, I think the X tool uses 10 watt as normal. It could be 20, I'm not sure. I think they do a 5 watt as well. So you could pick one of these and download it to your machine. Now he tells you how to do it and everything on the site, but what I found was that I created a folder within my documents called LightBurn, and I keep everything in there for LightBurn. It allows me then to um, keep the artwork in there and keep just much better. Was so I created that Lightburn folder. Then inside it, I created one called Art, Cut and Engrave, Settings, Templates. Now you would think that you would put the settings for your machine within the settings folder. I don't. I put it in the Cut and Engrave folder, and I can make different ones. And then if you look at this down here, when we do the library, you can see it says Alta LM3 on that one and 20 watt there. The LM3 is a 10 watt one. So that is the library I downloaded from the web. And to put a library in here, all you need to do, if I unload that one, I've got no libraries there now. So no settings preset for any of these images, these folders. If I click load, then go to the LightBurn folder, cut and engrave, LM3, highlight it, open it. There it is, all the different settings that I've done for the different materials that I'm using. Um, I think that's about it for that there. Uh, I can't think. Has anybody got any questions? I know I've gone through a hell of a lot really quickly there, but Has anybody got any questions they want to ask? Well,
Yes, Bob. So obviously, if I went onto that fellow's site and I find the libraries for my laser etcher, that
mhm.
would create that. I would end up then with that library able to go, so I wouldn't have to mess around with it.
That's right. Yeah, you wouldn't have to do all the settings from scratch because I didn't. I didn't know about that light having all the settings set to LightBurn, and it took me nearly a month just to get a cut, engrave, image engrave, or a fill to work exactly as I wanted it to. And I was using the in LightBurn. There is a laser tool set up for its material test. If you click this, it brings up this image that's going to give you little squares, 10 uh, in rows and 10 in columns with speed and power. And these are the different settings that you would get. I'll show you the image first. So that, let me just change one setting first. And then I'll go through these settings with you. Preview. So that's what the laser is going to print for you. And although you can't see it on here, these are actually graduated. They go from light down here, which should be, uh, sorry, light up here, uh, which would be very light, to dark down here, which would be very dark for engraving. Now you can do the same for cutting as well. So you could do one initially for your cut settings and put that to line, to that preview. And what it's going to do is cut these out, or try to. And what it does, if you just do one of these, then you'll find out where your laser will cut through best of all on a little square. Now, that's not going to be able to cut things always with the same amount of power, but it gives you a near enough register to find out where you can start from. So we'll say, and for instance, my laser, um, I actually run my laser about 200 millimeters per minute at 100% to cut through 3 millimeters of plywood. So it would be that one I'd be looking for on this squares to actually drop through, to actually cut. And then none of these would, all of these others would, because the power has gone up. The power has stayed the same, but the speed has gone up. So the higher the speed, the less it's going to cut. Okay. So I wouldn't want any of these to cut, or I would want that one to cut through. It's just a matter of getting what you need for your settings. Now, once you've done that once, just say for 3 millimeter plywood, you don't have to do a full sheet to do them again. What you can do is just, I'll move all this out of the way. Create your little box. Oops. And then tell it to cut at a certain level, a certain power. Say, we'll say 200 by 100. And if that doesn't cut all the way through, just slow down the machine slightly. So I'd make it 100, probably 180, and then try it again and see if it cuts through. If that cuts through, that setting is the one you want to save for your cutting out of plywood. And to actually save it, If we go back to library again, we'll say it's in the basswood here. So create from new layer. If I click on that, you've got a material name, we'll say ply. We're cutting, so we'll give it a thickness. Oh, we'll give it a thickness, 3 millimeters, and we'll say cut. So at the moment, it's on that layer there, and we're going to tell it to create a new material within basswood called ply. So now we have ply, 3 millimeters cut. And if I double click on that, it brings up 180, 100. The settings that we set in it, in the layer, have been transferred from the layer to the library. So now every time that we come and open the machine up and we want to cut a box, all we do is put it onto that layer, which is the black layer here. Okay. And the same would be if we wanted to make it into an engraving, and we just wanted to engrave that around. We would do create new layer, apply. We don't want any thickness because we're going to engrave this time. And we go engrave. And we click cut. Click OK. Oh, I forgot to give it a name. Doesn't matter. It's still there anyway. So you've got engrave, no thickness. Now, if we want to edit that, we go into it and we could say 6,000. And click OK. So now we've got engrave, and if we double click on that, it's going to do it at 6,000. If we do cut, that one, it's going to do it at 180. Now, if you're going to do this, I suggest you go to that lad's website, to his YouTube channel, and he's got one that tells you exactly how to create the libraries, both art libraries and settings libraries, because it saves so much time. If we put the art library on, oh, and I can't see the end of my screen. No, there we go. Art library. You see how the back of the screen you're going to load it onto goes blue. So you could have it there, or you could have it at the top if you wanted at the top. So you've got art library, cut layers, console, shapes. So you can click on this. You can have lots of pussies. Alvin, there's loads of different art you can get. This is all free. You can download them from his site. There's tons and tons of stuff that you can do. But I suggest you go to that site to get to know the library settings, because it will save you so much time in the end. And his settings, he does them for 5 watts, 10, 15 watt, 20-watt laser. And I just pick one of the ones that's nearest to your laser, your own laser that you have.